Hello everyone, welcome today for our postgraduate webinar series on the Masters of Engineering Management. My name is Soraya Newell and I'm a student from Macquarie University, and I'll be hosting today's session. While we're waiting for everyone to come in, I would just like to acknowledge on behalf of this gathering the Aboriginal and First Nation peoples of this land where we all are today, and extend that respect to any past, present or future leaders that may be here with us today as well. As we're waiting for people to come in, I will just do some housekeeping. This session will be recorded and you will receive an email post this live session with a link to the recorded video. Also, we have the participants' cameras and microphones turned off just so it optimizes your viewing experience. And throughout the session, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen and send us through any questions that you will have. And at the end of the presentation, we will answer your questions live. And during that as well, you can send in more questions and we'll get to that as well. But we'll just wait a minute or so while we wait for everyone else to come in, and then we'll get started. Wonderful. So everyone's coming in now. I would just like to again welcome you guys to our Masters of Engineering Management session. I'm pleased to see that we have our senior lecturers Vikin Kotian and Nazmul Huda here today to give you and share you with some insights on our program and give you an overview of what it contains and tell you the important factors of what makes this program unique at Macquarie University, and also show you how you can take up these new senior leadership opportunities in your professional careers. So I'll now just pass over to Nazmul, who will start the presentation off for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Soraya. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Nazmul Huda. I'm from School of Engineering, and I'm also the Program Director of Master of Engineering Management Program. I believe everyone attending today is a graduate engineer, and you've been working as a professional engineer for some time now in Australia. So if you're looking to boost your career and looking to get a senior leadership position as engineering manager, what's next? How can you improve yourself? What set of skills you need before you can get there? Now, before I introduce the program, I wanted to share some factual information about how engineers are leading the global business around the world. You may already know this, but engineering is the most common undergraduate degree for Fortune 500 companies CEO, and about approximately one third of the CEOs majored in engineering, whereas only 11% graduated from Macquarie, graduated from the business school. So as you can see, engineering is one of the dominant undergraduate degree for most of the global business around the world. And in my next slide, these are some very familiar faces. Most of you already know these. Sundar Pichai is the CEO of Google. Ursula, she was the board of directors member for Uber. Elon Musk, everyone knows all these familiar faces, and there are many more who have got engineering background and really leading the global business in all these giant companies. So now it's all about, now that you have an engineering degree, how can you make yourself unique? And from my experience, what I can see, what I can tell you is in all these senior leadership positions, the best of the best are usually handpicked. So you need to have that, you need to upskill yourself. And so you need to have that right set of skill and make sure that you are standing out of 1,000 candidates in the job market. Now, this is a famous statement from Larry Page: "You never lose a dream. It's just incubates as a hobby." So dream big. Always look for progressing your career to the next stage, and it's not very far. And if you keep trying, you'll get there eventually. So you have to. It should come within yourself. So no one can push you to there, but you have to push yourself into that level. So now, to do that, do whatever you need to do, upskill yourself, learn new techniques, get a degree that can lead you to your dream job. So as an engineer, what do you have? You already have the technical skills from your relevant engineering background, whether you are from civil, mechanical, electrical, software, IT, depending on your engineering background, you already have that technical know-how within your engineering discipline. What you don't have is, although some of you may have some leadership skill, but from institutional level or from an organization perspective, what leadership means is how can you lead an engineering business. That's what it's lacking in the Bachelor of Engineering degree. So you don't have the leadership skill and also the financial knowledge of running an engineering business. So my engineering managers need the knowledge of how effectively you can utilize your technical skill, financial knowledge, in addition to the leadership skills that you need to lead a team of a large organization. You already have that conceptual skills of critical thinking, analytical thinking, problem solving from your Bachelor of Engineering program. So you need the additional set of skills to move your career to the next level. Now, before I introduce the program, I wanted to share some news article. What does the future look like in a post-COVID world, especially for engineers who are looking to progress their career into the next stage. So both the federal and state government, they announced multi-billion-dollar infrastructure projects over the coming years. So that it's very good news, everyone working as a professional engineer. As the more infrastructure projects we have, the better future we have as engineer. And New South Wales records most engineering vacancies in Australia. This is a news article extract from Financial Review. All right, so here is, I would like to introduce you the Master of Engineering Management, MEM, a very popular choice for professional engineers around the world. So it's designed to meet the need for professional engineers from a diverse engineering background. No matter if you can be from mechanical, electrical, civil, or other engineering discipline. All you need is a 4-year Bachelor of Engineering degree to be able to get admission into the program. There are some, in addition to some professional engineering skill, you also get the business skill you need to lead an organization, things like operations management, supply chain, project management, human resource, in addition to business innovation, entrepreneurship skills. As for the program itself, it's a 2-year degree with 180 credit points in total. About 80 credit points are essential, and 80 credit points are designed as core units. And 40 of the core zone is essential, and the remaining 40 is elective. So it's a almost 50-50 unit sharing option with School of Engineering and Macquarie Business School. I will give a more detail about the course structure in the coming slides. So essentially, it's an MBA for engineers. So in MBA, you have 100%, almost 100% of the units covered from business perspective, whereas Master of Engineering Management, you have around 50% covered from engineering that is relevant to run an engineering business. So we call it an MBA for engineers. And all the courses provides greater depth in all the subjects that are relevant for engineers looking to progress their career. For the course description, we can, so it's, as I said, it's a joint degree offered from School of Engineering and Macquarie Business School. That bridges the gap in the field of engineering and business management. It's very multidisciplinary. It's not much technical, but more professional and business-oriented units. Worldwide, a very popular choice for professional engineers, both for fresh engineers and engineers working in their profession for some time. We have it can be a good choice for both. As for the course duration, about 2 years full time. There is also an option for part time for anyone who would like to do it as part time. And it's offered in both session 1 and session 2, based in North Ryde campus of Macquarie University. And finally, discipline experts from School of Engineering and Macquarie Business School are here to help and leading the development of the units and delivering the program at about world standard. Now, I would like to introduce myself. So that's, I'm the program director. I joined Macquarie University in 2014 as one of the founding academic for mechanical engineering program. Then in 2018, we initiated the Master of Engineering Management program. My colleague, Dr. Vic Cordian, he's also a senior lecturer at School of Engineering. Prior to that, he was an adjunct academic at Macquarie Business School. He's also the managing director of Performance Improvement Institute, and Vic comes from a wealth of industry experience, about 16 years. He's been advising and working with CEOs and their direct reports of Australian and multinational organization on business excellence and organization transformation. He's also held senior leadership position as the director of performance improvement at PwC and also at Unisys. Before starting his consulting career, Vic spent about 20 years at Dow Corning at senior managerial position. So I would like to invite Vic to talk a little bit more about the program and Macquarie Business School. Over to you, Vic.
Thanks, Nazim. Yeah, a bit about Macquarie Business School. So Macquarie Business School, or MGSM as it was known before, it was one of the top business schools in Australia. In fact, ranked quite highly around the world. It's one of the oldest MBAs in Australia, and it has, you know, some of the world-class teaching facilities. I'm in fact a graduate. I did my MBA at Macquarie, and you know, we have the business school has a real good dedicated staff. As we said, the facilities, and it has around about 20,000 alumni with a master's degree. So as we all know, one of the real advantages of doing an MBA, yes, there's the course content, but also the networks, the people that you meet and the networks that you create and how these networks can help you down your career is also very, very important. The business school is credited to the Association to Advanced Collegiate Schools of Business, the AACSB, and so it's had that accreditation for many, many years. You get the next slide, please, Nazmul. So over to you, Nazmul. You want to talk a bit about the this living case study?
Just wanted to share a living case study from Macquarie Business School.
I'm Warren Riddell. I've been lecturing and mentoring about 20 students now for the last 10 weeks on what's called the Living Case Study, which is one of the units that they take towards the end of their MBA program.
We've run a 10-week course where we've explained to the students how Covermore works, and what we're hoping to hear back tonight in the form of a competition is ways in which they believe we should amend or expand our strategy going forward.
So we're going to run through each of the three presentations straight at one after the other. When the three presentations are finished, so each presentation is 20 minutes, as you know, we'll do the hard work of actually working out who the winner is.
Entering the market involves taking a three-pronged approach, strengthening the core of your current business, and entering into some uncharted territory if you're brave enough to do so.
I hope that they walk away with some live experience of a real company that at the moment has gone through a significant period of growth and is still trying to answer the question. We're struggling maybe a little bit internally about what does the next evolution of Covermore look like.
What we pitched was a strategy for Covermore to combine and leverage all of its existing products and services into one offering for clients. And in doing so, to consider going another step further into some uncharted territory and building some extra capability into its business.
Mentoring was absolutely brilliant. Every week when new business heads used to come and tell us what are the key challenges and problems they are facing, we also got that opportunity to discuss with them on one-to-one basis during our breakout sessions. Covermore today engages its customer at the booking phase of the entire customer journey. But we strongly believe for Covermore to start engaging its customer from the dream, plan, booking, experience and the share phase of the entire customer journey.
And so, I'd like to congratulate the first group that presented, Group 3, as the winners of this challenge.
It empowers me as someone that can stand in front of a group of students, knowing that, yes, believe me when I say to you that actually you will come up with something that actually be valued by the client. Believe me, you will. And the journey to get there is what you'll enjoy, and at the end of it, you'll feel a great sense of elation and success.
Thanks, Nazmul. So let's talk a bit about some of the resources that we have at the Masters of Engineering Management, as well as within the Macquarie campus. And as you can see on the slide, we have a number of resources. There's the Students Club, and we have events that we can all attend. Two that I'd really like to talk a bit about is Macquarie University's Incubator and the Venture Cafe. These are two very important facilities that allows people with engineering backgrounds to play and dabble in some of the interests that they have. One of the courses that I wrote for this program was the engineering entrepreneurship, and we ran this course for the first time in semester 1. And what we did was we brought in angel investors, private equity people, and part of the course was you coming up with an idea and presenting it to potential investors. And we had a number of groups. It was a very large class, and one of them actually engaged with our angel investors, and they're working together to see how they can get this particular business off the ground, which is very, very exciting. And I think that's the real value that we bring, is that it's not just theory. We have people who have strong industry links that can not only educate and teach, but actually also drive business and get you to the places where you're really looking for. So next slide, please, Nazmul. And so talking about your next places, what are the career opportunities? At the end of the day, we go, we educate ourselves in the hope of having that extra qualification or that degrees. It will allow us to progress further from where we are. And if you do a search on any of the employment programs such as SEEK, you can find there are a number of engineering management positions. In fact, 4,212 most recently. Nazmul just did this a few days ago. And so there's an incredibly strong international demand around the Southeast Asian countries. So it's something that is well in demand. And as Nazmul mentioned early on, especially in Australia, with all the infrastructure projects going on, not only do we require strong engineering skills, but also strong engineering management skills. We get the next slide. Now, only as recent as last week, there was a very interesting article. It was sent out by the Australian Tax Office, and they highlighted the 10 highest paying jobs in Australia. And as you can see, the top ones are the medical professions, a few of the legal ones, and then, as you can see, engineering manager. So, if you want a highly rewarding, financially rewarding career, not only have you chosen engineering, but if you go and do your engineering management degree, the opportunities are already there to have an incredibly financially rewarding career. So next slide. So what are the career opportunities? So as we said, the Masters of Engineering Management program really prepares you so that not only do we take advantage of your technical background, but we build on that so that you also understand some of the softer skills, the skills which employees are really looking for. So not only understand the technical aspects, but the organizational aspects, so that you're ready and you can hit the ground running. This course provides great opportunities, as we said, to update your skills. And there are a lot of career opportunities. You can also, what I've done, and that is, my background is chemical engineering, but, I moved from purely chemical engineering into managerial positions. And in fact, my PhD is in business. So that diversity, that breadth of knowledge is incredibly valuable. And that's why when we saw a lot of the CEOs, they are looking for people who have the analytical, the technical, the decision-making skills. People talk about data-driven decision-making. Well, part of the reasons why engineers are so sought after is because of their strong analytical, data-driven decision-making approach that is required in business today. So next slide, please. So where are they? Well, there's a huge list. And anything that's to do with engineering, whether it's electrical, electronic, mechanical, civil, chemical, mining, food, services, even in the services area. We see a lot of engineers move directly into consulting. Again, looking for that strong managerial, technical skills, that the decision making is highly sought after. So having this added skill becomes incredibly advantageous. Next slide, please. So that's it. That's all we have in terms of content. I think we'd like to open it up for some questions and see what we can do. Here we go. Over to you, Sarai.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. That was really valuable to hear from you. As mentioned, we have the Q&A chat option at the bottom of the screen, so just send through any questions that you have now. First off, we have a question asking, is Commonwealth supported places available for this course? And also, are you able to take any specializations in the course too?
Nazmul, would you want to answer the one around the Commonwealth support?
I'm not sure at this stage. I'll have to check that the student services, whether the program is CSP supported at this stage.
but regarding the second part, we don't have any specific specializations. A lot of that is left to you in terms of the elective subjects. So we don't have any specializations in there. One of the things that we are working towards is some of the micro credentialing. Okay, and so at the moment we haven't completed these few courses that we want to micro credential, but no, we don't have any specializations at the moment.
However, we do have a range of elective units. So you have 40 credit points of elective units that you can choose out of 9. So it's your choice which one you pick.
Wonderful, thank you. We have a question from Amy here, wondering, from an engineer to an engineering manager with more managerial responsibilities, can you share your thoughts on the most desirable skills to achieve this career transformation?
Yeah, would you like me to take that one, Nazmul?
Yeah.
I've interviewed a lot of young graduate engineers, and one of the things that I look for when I've interviewed people is the softer skills. You can be an absolutely brilliant engineer, but if you can't work in a team, because most projects aren't done individually, they're done with teams. And how you manage your key stakeholders, how do you manage change, how do you lead a team, how do you deal with difficult people, these are all soft skills. And you don't really learn a lot of this in the undergraduate degree. So to transition from an engineer to an engineering manager, you really need to focus in on some of these softer skills. And that's what potential employers are looking for, these softer skills.
Thank you. We also have a question, how does this degree actually differ from an MBA itself?
So very good question. So it differs in one critical aspect. So let me give you some specific examples, because I used to teach in the business school. So one of the foundational subjects in your MBA, for example, is operations management. And so in operations management, you might talk about procurement. It might be one lecture on procurement. There will be one lecture on quality. Now, for an engineer, that's not sufficient. So what we've done is we've actually gone and written the whole course, for example, on quality. How do you change an organization's culture so that it's one of continuous improvement? Likewise, in supply chain, within supply chain procurement. Now, one of the key activities when you're an engineering manager is who's going to supply your materials, your parts for the product that you're trying to make. So, we wrote a contract on, we wrote a course on procurement contracts. So we've actually gone into a greater detail that is more relevant for an engineering manager as opposed to someone who, so for example, would you want to go and do marketing? Maybe not. You can do a lot more of those in your business course, but they don't have that type of detail in a Masters of Engineering Management. So it really is geared for those people who are looking at becoming engineering managers, but also to eventually lead an organization, lead a company as well.
Perfect. And also, would you guys be able to provide some insight on like the class profiling and the class size?
Right. So we have last year we have around 50 intakes, both domestic and international. This year we had, because of COVID and international border closure, we have about 32 intakes this year. So, and the units, depending on the classes, roughly about 50 to 60, depending on students who is taking which unit, and depending on session 1, session 2. So around 50, I would say around 50 each class.
Our next question is, can you elaborate a bit on the living case study and which engineering companies you work with?
Big.
Yeah, so the living case study was one at the business school. but the case studies that we didn't do a living case study. We actually asked students to come up with ideas that they could potentially commercialize. So we actually walked them through step by step what you really needed to do in order to get an idea to a company. And so I think we had something like 12 groups. We had a fairly large class of around about 55 students. And each group had to present initially their midterm, an idea that was evaluated. We gave feedback. But more importantly, by the end of the semester, they actually had to present to, it was kind of like a Shark Tank. And so we had the sharks, and we had real, as we said, real private equity angel investors who actually assessed and did this. And the other thing that I would say is that, I use myself as an example. I'm involved in 2 startups, as well as my, my teaching commitments. One of the things that I do is get involved in startups. So it's not theoretical. It is very, very practical. And we provide real advice around how you might have an idea and be entrepreneurial. I think that's the beauty of Australia, is that you could have an idea if you do everything right, if you understand what you need to do, especially in the area of intellectual property. As engineers, you really need to understand that, yeah, I have an idea, but how do I make sure that no one steals it? How do I protect it? The role of an engineer. So there's the entrepreneurial piece of starting an organization, but also we also talk about how you might be entrepreneurial within a large organization. So what might you do in research and development? So that might be in terms of material science or any of the other fields. So, I could talk to you about that, but the living case study was more from the business school.
Just to add on to that as well, with I guess you'll have those experiences as well in the venture cafe and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I've gone to the venture cafe, and you can do your pitches, and you can actually get investment and stuff like that with those opportunities around campus. So that's really useful. The next question we have, which I guess is the age-old question that everyone wants to know, what makes your course unique versus other engineering management courses?
Okay, I'll take that, and maybe we can add some more. I believe this is the first ever degree that is jointly developed by and contributed from a business school. Most of the engineering management program that I know that are offered from engineering department, and I'm not aware of any involvement from their business school. So Macquarie is very proud to present a degree that is interdisciplinary with 50-50 split between business school and engineering. That's I think a big advantage, because when you are doing a business unit, you are sitting in a class with students from diverse business backgrounds. So you can get involved in useful discussion. You can get involved in group projects with students from business background, and you get the knowledge sharing with the business school. So Vic, do you have anything more to add to that?
Yeah, I think absolutely. The fact that it's interdisciplinary, I think, is a real uniqueness. And I think the other, key piece is we've written these courses very recently. These aren't old courses. These are brand new courses. But most importantly, what we do, our faculty is the key difference as well. We have people who aren't academics. They're pracademics. These are people who practice, or from industry. So I spent my past 35 years in industry. The mere fact that I did my PhD a number of years ago allowed me to be, and I've been an adjunct. But, I have a lot of passion in this area, primarily because, I want to pass on the knowledge that I've had of 35 years of experience into the up and coming students, our future leaders. And I feel it's a, incredibly important and privileged opportunity to be able to mold the minds of our future leaders. So, and I think all of our academics, Nazmul, June, and the people from the business school, we play a very, very important role in terms of, as I said, preparing our future leaders, the skills that you will need for the future workforce. And I think they're the key differences. compared to.
Another difference, I think the duration is 2 years full-time, and only a few degrees in Australia, they offer 2-year full-time. You'll see most of the degrees probably 1 year duration. So we covered the breadth and depth of knowledge in the entire subject areas. So we needed to come up with a 2-year duration degree. That's another point I would like to highlight. Thank you.
I'll just highlight what Vic was saying. As a student myself at Macquarie University, I find that Macquarie does put such a big emphasis on practical experience. So you have those experiences to then when you're going out in the workforce and finding a job, you have that behind you, which is really good. And that actually leads into our next question, which is, are there some real projects or practical learning opportunities incorporated into the program?
Yeah, absolutely. So for example, in the procurement course, we don't have an exam. It is actually, you have to write a request for tender. So it is of industry standard. In fact, I bring in procurement executives. So we have guest lecturers who are from industry. And in fact, one of them has written the both midterm and final assignment, which is basically writing an RFT for a state government major project. So we are getting real practical experiences. We use a lot of the Harvard Business Review case studies, where these are the most recent examples of topics that are relevant to that subject that we get students to read, do the research, and do some critical thinking around what were the issues around that particular case study. So we have most of the assignments that we provide are of an incredibly practical nature.
Wonderful. The next question is, are all classes delivered on campus, and how much time should I actually allocate for each subject? I guess if you're also still working as well.
I'll take that. Yes, from session 2, the good news is we are returning to fully on campus. Although we have the online option for anyone from overseas, but anyone in Sydney, you'll be able to attend the live lectures on campus. And what was the second part of the question?
Let me just double check for you. It was, how much time should you allocate for?
All right. So for full-time study load, there are about 4 units each semester. That means for each unit, that's 40 hours of study load as a full-time student. So if you're doing 4 units, for each unit, about 10 hours per week. That includes lecture, tutorials, assignments, case studies, homework. Everything should be within that 10 hours per week.
Wonderful. The next question is from someone who is already quite a skilled engineer and has looked at the units that we offer and thinks that they already have quite a lot of the foundational skills. Is there opportunities to get recognised prior learning for the degree and finish it faster?
Yes, there are opportunities for RPL. If you feel that you have the learning skills with any of the units, you can apply for RPL, and if it's granted, you can fast track your degree.
And I've already approved the number of students who've applied, and we've accepted their prior learning. So yes, absolutely.
And is that just something that they apply for directly through Macquarie University website, or how do they actually apply for that?
Yeah, so each of the students, there's a special application you need to do. You need to provide the evidence, especially around the learning outcomes. Now, I'll give you some examples. There are people who've worked in project management and are certified by PMI, and I've got all the certification and experience and everything. So we've kind of approved those. Other people, for example, under quality management, some people say, oh, well, I've done the ISO course and I know everything about ISO, but that's all they had. But that didn't meet all the the learning outcome. So that was rejected, saying, "Yep, all right, yeah, we do talk about ISO, all well and good, but there's many other subjects or topics within that subject that the applicant did not provide," and so that was rejected. So the key thing is making sure that you apply properly and provide all the evidence that says it meets all the learning outcomes.
And I guess if that is the case, then it just makes the subject a bit easier because you already know a bit of it.
Correct.
The next question, which you kind of touched on before, was what's the typical assessment types in this program?
It depends. It depends on the subject. Some subjects will require an exam. Some subjects, we will just do assignments. So, for example, in procurement, remembering what the laws were is not really suitable. What we want people to do is be able to prepare an RFT, and so we've written the assessments so that reflects what the industry needs are. So for quality management, well, there's a bit more, quantitative skills. So we do need to test to see, well, do you understand what's signal to noise difference? How do you separate something from common cause to special cause variation? How do we change organizational culture? There's a bit of theory behind it. So that one's going to have an exam. But other topics like the entrepreneurial, there's no exam there. It was purely based on assignments. So it really depends on the subject.
And I guess that's good as well for when you get to exam periods and stuff like that. I have subjects where there isn't the exams, and it makes that load then at the end of semester much better. So having variety is quite good.
Yep.
Next question we have is, can you share some examples on where graduates of this course have gone on to after study?
Okay, we started, our first offering was early, the first intake was session 1, 2020. We don't have any completions yet. We are expecting about 30 completions by end of this year, and be able to provide some more data hopefully early next year.
I think the other thing that I do quite often, a lot of the students, we generated a really good rapport. A number of students have come to me, they look at my LinkedIn profile and they say, "Hey Vic, do you mind if we connect?" And I use my networks. So, and any opportunities for employment, we do that. So for example, I recently completed an assignment with a railway organisation. They had a need for people with data analysis, data science skills, and we actually approached some of our undergraduates to see who was interested. And next semester, they're doing, these are still students, they're going to be doing a project, and hopefully by the end of that next semester, they will finish their degree, and there will be a potential job for them as soon as they finish. So they're the types of things that we hope we can do, is utilizing our networks and helping them with potential roles. And I've acted as references for a number of the students who I think are really worthy of that type of reference. So what they put in, if they've impressed the educators and they're quite willing to, they're happy to referee them, these are just some of the things that we can do to help them in terms of gaining employment once they've completed.
Yeah, I'd like to add more to that. It should be you who can take you to your dream job. So we can help you, we can guide you, we can teach you some learning, we can give you some learning materials, but at the end of the day, we cannot take you to your dream job. So it depends on individual. What is your capacity, leadership skill? How well can you manage projects or lead a project or lead a team? And how much you achieved from this degree overall. So that will take you to the next level. And we are happy to mentor. We will be guiding you, but at the end of the day, it's you have to take you to your dream job. So That's all I wanted to say.
Wonderful. I was also going to say, do you find that you have many connections with the businesses in Macquarie Park, seeing that we're situated so close to Macquarie Park as well?
Absolutely.
Definitely. That's wonderful. Very convenient. The next question, which you've also touched on slightly before, given the current COVID situation, how heavy is online teaching and learning compared to face-to-face delivery?
Well, from session 2, my understanding is we are running fully on campus, apart from students stuck overseas. So anyone in Sydney, they should be able to attend the courses on campus face-to-face. The workload will be pretty similar to online versus on campus. From student perspective, you get to travel to campus, you get to enjoy the campus life. And anyone not willing to take that advantage, obviously there is option for you to attend online. But for study load, I would say it would be pretty similar to on-campus online, be pretty similar study load.
And I assume also that things like lectures and everything will be recorded for the students so they can have that flexibility of whether they want to.
All lectures are recorded, but the tutorials are not recorded. So if you are meant to attend the tutorial on campus, those are not recorded. So you have to come to campus to attend the tutorials.
Wonderful, thank you. And the next question is, with the part-time study, is there nighttime study options as well, or the weekend, I guess, for those tutorials and things that you would need to attend?
For engineering units, we don't have any night. There may be only a few units from business school that is offered at night time, but apart from that, not many options from engineering side. No.
Thank you.
But having said, the lectures are recorded, so you'll have access to the online recorded version of the lectures.
Do you is there quite, seeing this is a niche area, do you find there is many options for you to pick tutorial times and things like that to customize your own study plans?
It depends on the subjects. Business units are, especially business units, they have high number of students. As opposed to engineering, we are kept at roughly about 50 to 60 at this moment. So for tutorials, there may not be very wide options. So considering the fact that we limit our tutorials to 20 students in each class. So there may be limited options from engineering units.
Wonderful. And then our final question that we have here is, I've read through the course structure and there is flexibility that we can choose elective units from a list of units. What are the most popular electives chosen?
Well, there is no definite answer to that question, I guess. It depends on your choice, but now it's up to you. But I think building managerial and leadership skill, those are the areas that students would like to get most of their skills. Yeah,
that makes sense. I guess whatever's more like broadly applicable into their.
Yeah. So if you are working in an industry with supply chain, maybe that's more appropriate for you. You feel, or I mean, it really depends on individual student, to be honest. I don't have the exact data about how many students picked what elective units.
Yeah. Awesome, thank you. So that is basically our main presentation for today, and I would just like to thank both Nazmul and Vic for joining us out of their busy schedules to have a chat with you. I would like to say, feel free to get out your phones at the moment and scan that QR code so you can sign up to get more information about specifically the engineering management degree. And as mentioned before, this is offered in both session 1 and session 2 to start the management degree. And if you would like to start for session 2 this year, the applications will close on the 9th of July and study will commence on the 26th of July as per the usual semester dates. But Also, if you have any further questions, feel free to just contact us on the information that you see on the screen. We do offer personal consultations, so if you'd like to go more in depth about the course structure or how you want to actually structure your academic plans, or even how to go through the application process, we can definitely organise that. It's completely free, and we can just do that through Zoom, which makes it very easy, just like this. Otherwise, you can find a lot of our information on the Macquarie University website. And I will give you a hot tip of when you're looking for something, or any university online, just type directly into your search engine what you're looking. So for this, it will be Masters of Engineering Management, and just add MQ on the end. And what you'll find is the course structure and the course handbook will pop up straight away. And Macquarie's website has it very neatly laid out, so you can see exactly what subjects you'll get to choose, and you can click on them and see what they are about and what kind of assessments and things like that. And it's really detailed. So that's really great for getting a grasp around what the actual study load and experience of those units will be. But otherwise, we also have our live chat options on the website if you don't feel like calling, which is basically like Messenger, and you can ask any questions that you have during trading hours. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us. I hope this was valuable, and I hope that you apply. And thank you so much again for Naz and Vic for doing this for us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you
So much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.